What's up? My name is Payne, and welcome to my channel where I try to become the best at Yu-Gi-Oh! Emphasis on try. Today's gonna be a little bit different. Instead of me going out and dueling at my locals, I decided to call out one of the best duelists at my local in a 1v1. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Garrett.
16 gets to compete for this.
Garrett isn't just your typical duelist, at least not in my eyes. And in his case, he actually got a pretty decent resume. His resume consists of a 2013 regional top 8 finisher, a 2014 Warrensburg OTS champion, a 2016 regional top 8 finish, a 2023 2x regional invite, and a 2024 regional invite. But I mean, if we gonna compare resumes, in true Yu-Gi-Oh fashion and just for the love of the game, I decided to DM him, ask him if he wanted to duel. He said he was down for it, so we gonna make it happen. I'm sorry, I know, that was dumb. And it made sense because the only time I've ever went against Garrett was in the tournament that I won. And he technically never got a chance to get his get back. So this is his chance. If you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're a returning viewer, what's up? With that being said, that's enough yapping, let's get to action.
Surprising. Did not expect that, for one. For two, I find it as a chance for a learning opportunity, for me and him.
Hope we have fun, and I hope I don't gas out.
Kaneki 170. This is just a test.
Bill.
Honestly, like, just in a protagonist type of style, just like what Yu-Gi-Oh is, I feel like it only just makes sense to just call somebody out. I feel like more people need to call people out. We keep missing each other at locals, so I feel like this would be a perfect time to just call them out. Try to run them once.
So game plan, I think we're gonna roll with some new techs that I've been trying. I'm trying a pure build of a deck. I think it'll get there. We're gonna see what happens.
To win. I know that's like very obvious, but very creative. I know a lot of people have like spreadsheets of what they're gonna do. I feel like being able to think on the fly is just as important as like spreadsheets.
Be open-minded. Don't be afraid to try out what other people are trying out. Consistency is key in this game. It is based off of luck, and if you are gonna see your starters more often, you're gonna win more often. So
honestly, be creative. Just cause like a deck is winning, you gotta realize like the person behind the deck isn't the same person. Like, it's not going to be the same person. Like, don't just follow a deck just cause it's beating everybody. Sometimes creativity and just going with the flow and stuff like that, in my opinion, is best.
Malice. It just that deck is ignorant. Like it just, you could throw 5 hand traps in it and it's just gonna be like, so I'm gonna still play, and then I'm gonna play during your turn, and it's just oppressive. We're done with that. Let's move on, Konami.
Honestly, Malice.
Fucking hate Malice. Konami, please do something. Alright, I won the dice roll and I'm going first. And the first thing that I play is Goblin Biker Entrance, which is gonna add a Goblin Biker to my hand. I add Goblin Biker Gone Wild to my hand, and then I normal summon Merciless. And when he is normal or special summon, he allows me to special summon another Goblin Biker from my hand. In response, he hits me with a mean Full Olives, a card I definitely don't want to go off, so I activate Call By. And at this point, I was feeling pretty good, and then he hit me with Veiler. And after the Veiler, I literally had nothing to push past it, so I had to pass my turn. He draws for turn, and then he looks at my naked ass field, and then he activates Ketsu, his add 1 infuse. And I did know that this is one out of the 2 brain infusions in the deck, so I activated Ash, which I really thought was gonna hurt him, and then he activated Ragu from his hand. He sends Fuwalos and Mina to the grave, and then he fusion summons Arthalion. Then he activates his effect, adding Effect Veiler from his grave to his hand, which is crazy. Then he activates Mina's effect, setting Flame from his deck. And he destroys my monster, leaving me completely open. He attacks me for 3k and he ends his turn. I draw for turn, and since I don't control any monsters, I normal summon Goblin Bikers Gone Wild. And then I activate his effect, special summoning another Goblin Biker from my deck. Then he hits me with another effect and I had nothing to push past that, so I end my turn. After he draws, he goes into the battle phase and then he attacks over my Goblin Biker, then ends his turn. I draw for turn and then I activate Goblin Biker Grand Entrance, and then he negates it with his Flame Trap. Then places one card at the bottom of the deck and draws another card. Then I normal summon Doug Charger and I activate his effect, adding one Goblin Biker spell from my deck to my hand. Then he hits me with Ash, literally stopping me from doing anything. I pass for turn, he draws, and then he normal summons Lucius, and then I knew that it was over, so then we go into game 2. Alright, going into game 2, I'm going first, and the first thing I do is activate Emergency Teleport, special summoning Blue Layer for my deck. Then I activate Blue Layer's effect, adding the spell Layer 19 from my deck to my hand. Then I special summon Zaytan from my hand, and then I activate its effect, attributing itself and sending one spell from my deck to my grave to special summon Alphon. Then I activate Alphon's effect, attributing itself and then revealing 3 different super quant monsters, and then my opponent picks one at random, and the others get sent to their grave. And now some effects are going to go off. Black Layer's effect is going to add the spell Layer 19 from my deck to my hand. Red Layer's effect is going to special summon Black Layer from my grave. And White Layer sends another copy of itself to the grave. Then after all of that, he hits me with Nibiru. And with White Layer's effect, I add another Alphon to my hand. Still having my normal summon, I normal summon Green Layer, and I activate my spell Layer 19, special summoning another super quant with a different attribute. I pick Red Layer and I activate his effect, adding Black Layer from grave to hand. Then I activate the spell Alphon Spike, banishing itself and Alphon to activate the super quant field spell from my deck. Then I activate my field spell, discarding one from my hand, and then XZ summoning Liger with Red Layer. Then I set 1 and pass. Garrett draws for turn, and then he activates King of the Swamp, discarding itself to add Poly from his deck to hand. In response, I activate Angel Statue as a rune, and I special summon it in defense. And after he adds the Poly, then he activates Super Poly, and he targets my Nib token and the trap, fusion summoning into Mud Dragon. He activates Mud Dragon's effect, and I respond with Magna Liger's effect, detaching one and popping his Nib. Looking back at it, that probably wasn't the best decision, but what you gonna do? Gotta push forward. And now, since Red Layer was sent to grave, I can special summon Blue Layer from my grave. And now I can activate Blue Layer's effect, adding Zaytan from my deck to hand. Then he activates Poly, using 3 monsters, 2 from hand, 1 on field, to fusion summon Guardian Chimera, which means he activates his effect to pop 1 on the field and draw 2 cards. In response, I tried using my Ghost Ogre on his Guardian Chimera, but then he quickly reminded me that I couldn't because it was chain blocked. By Minna's effect to set 1 spell or trap from deck since she was used as fusion material, and then he pops my Liger with Chimera's effect. And after he draws his 2 cards, he activates Tetsu to add Lucius to his hand. He then normal summons Lucius and activates her effect, adding another copy of Minna to his hand. And since he activated a monster effect, I can activate Black Layer from my hand, special summoning himself by discarding 1 card, and then use him to exceed summon into Lusterate using White Layer from my grave as material. And then he discards Minna, activating her effect, using her and another card in his hand as fusion material for Arthalion. He then activated Arthalion and Lucius' effect, and I was able to negate Arthalion with my Lusterix, and then Lucius' effect was able to grab him Rahu. He then activates Rahu to send Pan from deck to grave, and his Magnum Hut from hand to grave as fusion material to fusion summon Gullimel. Then he activates Pan's effect. Since it was used as a fusion material, it can set 1 Dragon Tail spell or trap and then destroy 1 monster on the field. He destroys my Lusterix, and since he activated a Draco Tail effect, he activates Gamel's effect, destroying my Blue Layer. Then he goes in the battle phase and punches over my Green Layer with his Gullimel. Then he attacks me directly with his Arthalion and his Guardian Chimera. He passes, and then I draw for turn. I stare at my hand looking for plays, and then I look at my graveyard out of pure desperation. I look back into my hand, and with literally no other plays left, I surrender. I drew into Effect Veiler, and it was one of those moments where you're like, damn. Even Garrett hated to see it. GG's to him. Afterwards, he asked to see my deck and I showed him my deck, and then he offered to give me any type of critiques, and it was really cool. I got to see his mindset and his thought process when it comes to deck building. And after we edited my deck, I asked if he wanted to do one more time just for the love of the game, and of course he said yes. Alright, going into our bonus duel, I won the dice roll, so I'm going first, and I start off by normal summoning Green Lair. And since I control a super quant monster, I special summon Zaytan from my hand. To activate Zaytan's effect, tribute summoning itself and sending Spike to the grave to special summon Alphon. Then I activate Alphon's effect, tributing itself and revealing 3 super quant monsters. My opponent picks one and the other 2 goes to the grave. He picked White Lair and 2 effects are going to go off. White Lair is going to dump a copy of itself from the deck to the grave, and Red Lair is going to special summon Black Lair from the grave. He asked me to double check what the chain links was, and then he responds with Magnum Hut, banishing my Black Lair. I then add Alphon to my hand since I dumped White Lair, and then I add layer 19 with Black Lair's effect. He then attempts to search with Magnum Hut, and then I negate with Ash. I then activate layer 19's effect, special summoning Blue Lair, and then I activate Blue Lair's effect, adding another Black Lair from deck to hand. I then activate the spell Spike from my grave, banishing it in Alphon to activate Magna Carrier from my deck. I then activate Magna Carrier, discarding 1 card, and then he responds with Blood Ogre, destroying it. So now I don't get its effect, so I set 2 and I pass. He draws for turn, and then he normal summons Lucius, and then I respond by activating as a rune, special summoning itself. Lucius's effect resolves, adding mana to his hand, and then he activates mana, discarding it to fusion summon. But luckily for me, I had card lock. He then goes into battle phase, and then he punches over my White Lair with his Magnum Hut. And then my White Lair's effect activates, letting me add another Alphon from my grave to my hand. Then he swings over my Green Lair with Lucius, activating my Green Lair's effect, allowing me to discard 1 super quant card to draw a card. He ends his turn and I draw. I normal summon Alphon, activates effect, tributing itself and showing 3 super quant cards. He picks Red Lair, and now with Blue Lair in my grave, I activate its effect, shuffling 3 super quant cards in my grave into my deck. Then I activate Red Lair's effect, adding White Lair from my grave to my hand. Then I activate White Lair's effect, sending Red Lair from field to grave to special summon itself. Then I use Red Lair's second effect, special summoning Green Lair from my grave to my field. Then I activate Green Lair's effect, special summoning Black Lair from my hand. Then activate his effect to exceed summon. But then he hit me with Ghost Ogre, which sucked, but now since Black Lair was destroyed, I can add layer 19 from my deck to my hand. Then I activate layer 19, the special summon Zaytan from my deck. And then I use 4 of my monsters and his Magna Hut to link summon into Underworld Goddess. Then I put Azarun in attack position, and I go into battle phase, and I attack over his Lucius with my Underworld Goddess, and then I attack him directly with Azarun. Then I end my turn. He draws for turn, he didn't have anything, so then he passes. I draw, and he immediately hits me with Perulia, so then I go into battle phase, and then I attack him directly, and then I pass. He goes for the heart of the cards draw, looks at his hand, and then he surrenders. GG's. So even though I got my ass whooped, I feel like I genuinely had fun, and I feel like I learned a lot too. I think low-key my favorite part was just seeing how he broke down my deck and just seeing his mindset when it comes to deck lists and deck building. I feel like I picked up a couple things that I'm going to use that's going to help me with my deck list further on. I didn't get the dub this time, but don't worry, I'm going to get my get back. Also, new update, I know in some of my videos some of the duels gets cut off short because I was having technical difficulties with the phone I was using, so I bought a brand new phone. Hooray! If you enjoyed this video of me calling out a duelist, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And there's plenty of other good duelists at my locals, so I'll start calling people out if y'all like this type of content. And I'll just do this mixing with the locals. Just let me know. With that being said, if you finished the video, thank you for your support, and y'all be safe out there, man. Peace.